Radical.
There's a couple uploads I'm trying to finally get around to today because I have a bit of free time. This is one of them. I meant to do this weeks ago, talking about the initiative in the EU to stop killing games. Now, I'm briefly going to talk about this, briefly going to go over this, what it is, and actually the best way to do that is to straight up read what you see right here. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date, but designed to be completely unplayable. Support from the form of planned obsolescence and is not only detrimental to customers, but makes preservation effectively impossible. Furthermore, the legality of this practice is largely untested in many countries. Over the past year, we have successfully escalated complaints on this problem to consumer agencies in France, Germany, and Australia. We have brought forth petitions for new law on this problem to various countries. A list of the actions taken to date can be viewed here. As of 2025, most consumer action on this matter has concluded, and we are awaiting decisions on it from several governments. However, there are a few remaining avenues left where people can participate if they're eligible. The European Citizens Initiative is open. And here's the good news. In the weeks since I meant to start talking about this, guess what? They are past. A good bit past the million signatures needed for the initiative to be taken up and considered. Now, I'll link to Accursed Farms, who's the person who started this, so you have a better understanding of this. And I'll also say, if you're in Europe right now, you should be signing this if you care at all about video games. If you care at all about the preservation of video games, if you care about keeping these companies from closing out your games like The Crew to where you can never play them again, even unofficially, on private servers. If you care about that and you're eligible, then you should be signing this. I'll tell you why. Because what can happen is a lot of these can be invalidated. You could have hundreds of thousands of these being invalidated from people just signing it wrong and not doing it correctly. So to really kind of feel safe about this being taken up, everyone that's eligible should be signing this. Now, there was a period of time to where this was thought to be dead in the water. And the fascinating thing about this whole situation, was you had a lot of bigger YouTubers talking about this in the gaming sectors. You had a lot of bigger gaming YouTubers talking about this, and still wasn't making it get past the finish line. Ironically, there's a guy, Pirate Software. I'm not going to give you the full story here, but Pirate Software came out very strongly against this. Very strongly. And he became basically one of the biggest villains of the gaming communities online. He came out very strongly against this, trying to misrepresent what this was. Trying to talk on the side, believe it or not, of the people that are killing the games by saying, well, you can't have every game come out with an offline component. It would cost too much money. And he tried to classify it in a way to say when a game is created, so it is available forever, it has to have an offline component. That's not what this was saying. I mean, somebody like myself, actually that's what I'm saying. I don't like the fact that all games, I've said this before, I don't like the fact that there are games out there that do not have some kind of offline component. I know some games like Destiny, you might say, the way that's structured could have an offline component. But I feel like, agree with me on this, that every single game that is released of a certain tier, that's AAA, should have at least something. If it's a shooting game, it should have something to where you have an offline component where you can play against bots, or something like that. But again, it wasn't me saying that. He was classifying this whole thing wrongly. And you might wonder, why would he do that? Well, it's no secret that he's actually part of the problem, you see. And another thing here is, let's see, well, if you want to really go into it, I would check out, I'm going to leave a link to the channel and check out his latest upload talking about how, even though this is a great thing, Video Games Europe, who is a lobbying firm, has come out with a statement strongly against this. And it's actually the same people that came out against classifications of loot boxes as gambling. So that's who you're dealing with here. And guess who's in the Video Games Europe? Guess who's part of that? Ubisoft is part of that. So the Crew is just given as an example, but it's not the only situation to where you have games that are basically dead. They're being killed, and there's no ability for private servers to be open. I mean, you look at Star Wars Galaxies, which was dead a long time ago, but the people have kept it alive. Tribes ended in 2004, but the people through private servers have kept that game alive. There's a statement, I'm not going to go into it because I feel that Accursed Farms can do it a lot better. So if you want more info and you want more details about that, I'm going to leave a link right after this commentary. But what I'll say to it is hilariously wrong for Video Games Europe to classify it as being too much of a burden and too much of a problem on these companies to just make their game playable through private servers. Just make it playable, not to keep support up all forever, because nobody expects people to keep the online servers up for a game like The Crew for 50 years. No one expects that shit, okay? Nobody. All right? But the expectation should be that if you buy a game for $60, $70, now $80, that it doesn't go obsolete in a few fucking years. That's the expectation. Last thing I'll say is, if this does not go through and things stay as, business as usual, then these companies need to come out and tell you straight up and give you more of a 3-month warning. I think they just gave a 3-month warning about The Crew 1. These companies need to come out and basically tell you, you are renting the game. You have a limited license, and not just in the ULA or that shit that nobody really reads because they go through it and they scroll and then they sign the check mark. No, it needs to be on the box that this is a limited experience or something like that to let people know, because right now gamers are blindsided, straight up blindsided at the fact that they are paying full price for limited year experiences like The Crew. And in the used market, this is worse, equally as worse. Because I sell games that are used at my store. What happens when I get a PS4 The Crew come in as a trade-in? Maybe people haven't fired it up in a couple years and they don't know that it's not playable anymore. I have to explain to them that the game that they bought has zero fucking value. Well, I don't say it like that to them. That'd be rude, but it has no value. It's just a case. And if you want to use it on your drink, it's a coaster. It's a case and a coaster. That's all it is. Somebody showed up at GameStop excited about The Crew, putting $60 down. Now it's $80 down. So now I can see why Video Games Europe, as a lobbying firm, wants to be against this initiative. Because what they want to do is have your games go obsolete. They want to have The Crew go obsolete, so you buy The Crew 2. And The Crew 2 obsolete, so you buy The Crew 3. So you're just borrowing, you're just renting these games from the companies, and after a period of time goes by, hey, you had your limited time with the game. Now you need to fork out the $60, the $70, the $80 to get the newest Crew.